So my original plan for this video was to tune this beast of a Defender, but as you can see, things didn't go quite to plan when trying to fit it in the dyno room.
Oh, Jesus Christ. This is on track. I can't got the road in, I can't got anything on it, but I think it's never done. Oh.
So, gonna have to crack on with this Golf TSI instead.
Yo, so today we've got two Golfs on, both Mark 5s, both TSIs, both KO4 converted. This one was being tuned before, but it's been brought in from Pip Automotive, who's asked me to have a look at it because he's parts bombed it and it was still broke. It had a weird boost issue, which I'm going to sort today. So this is on the Med 9 ECU, so it's quite an easy one, as easy goes. Once you've done a few, you've done them all. So got this to do, got another straight after, which is the same, black, being built by a mate of mine who's dropped it off. So hopefully these both go really well and we can get into them and I can show you all the ins and outs of doing one of these setups. So let's go. So first things first, we need to pick a tool to be able to flash the ECU with. In this case, I'm going to be using, if I can find it, B-Flash, because B-Flash is super fast on these. It does a virtual read, so I don't have to faff about with somebody else's tune and find the original file and all that kind of crap. And flashing is really fast. It flashes these in about 6 minutes-ish, which on these is pretty quick, because a lot of the other tools are like, what, 13 minutes, 15 minutes of flash, which is way too long for doing dyno tuning. So I'll be using B-Flash. I'm going to hook it up, smash that into the OBD. I'll log it with VCDS just because it's just a bit more advanced than B-Flashes for the logging on these. B-Flash is good, but it's for these logging wise, you just need something a little bit better, especially when you're setting up like a bigger turbo and things like that. So laptop set up, get me OBD wire in. I also use I have a few people ask me, I can find it. Here we go. I've got a 1 meter OBD wire. These things are a godsend. You plug these in. Only a couple of quid. I'll get these from Aftermarket chip tuning shop, but you plug them in because the OBD ports are usually quite hard to find on most cars. But once you're in, hook this up over the mirror like so, and that I'll just plug into that. I'm not down there trying to find the ports all the time. I can just quickly plug into this, and away I go. So it doesn't interfere with anything like speed or anything else. I've never had an issue with flashing or anything else, so get one of those if you're tuning cars in any way, shape or form. If I was on the road, I'll be using that. If I'm on the dyno, I'm using that. So it's just a great tool to have for a tenner. Get one of those at chip tuning shop. So here we go. B-Flash plugged in. Right, we are good to go. The only thing I don't really like about B-Flash is that USB port. Doesn't feel like it's going to sit in there right. They kind of wear over time. Whereas auto tune, you push it in, it clicks, you know, you're good to go. Right, back on. You can as well, if you ever wanted to, strap both wires together like that, so you're not looking around looking for the wires. But I can't be bothered to go and get the tape, so that one's off the cards. All right, let's get set up. I'll flick you over to the screen where we'll continue to do some tuning stuff. So I'm hoping that the mic kind of kicks in a little bit here. So we're on Winholes, B-Flash. Let's get it open up, let's get the car read off. I'll leave the car on because it's a virtual read, so the battery's not great on this car. Whoa, that's bright. There we go, I sorted that out. All right, VW, Med 9.1, OBD, ID, device not connected. That does help. I need more USB ports on my laptop because I leave something plugged in. I've got that. Right, come on. B-Flash, pick yourself up. So ID, Bosch Med 9, MPCs, that's like your processor chip. CDLA, that's a CDL engine code on AP ECU. issue with this, I've had this before, this could be demobilized because this isn't a CDL, this is a Golf, and that is S3 software. And I bet it hasn't been flashed with B-Flash before. Right, let's just do a read. It could work out to be a bit of a headache. Depends if they've done the immobilizer in the flash or if they've done it in the EEPROM. So might be a case of just flashing it and then seeing what the crack is. So do I do that first, or do I save a flash and have like a bit of a, mind you, it's a KO4 anyway. Yeah, let's just see if it flashes. So I'm going to flash it now. I'm going to see if this is going to be a headache car or if we can just get on with it. Right, Golf. Turn the car on. Turn the light off. Turn the car off. What are we on? 12 volt. Right, open sesame. So I'm going to flash the ECU. It's going to take about 5 or 6 minutes, and I'll come back and we'll see if it still starts. If it doesn't start, then I've got to take the ECU out, I've got to demobilize it and put it back in again. We'll see. Right, so that is flashed, and it's now the moment of truth. Will it start? Yeah, we're all right. Okay, so not so much of a headache as I thought it was going to be. So next up, let's get into this car. Always be flash for it. There we go. So let's get into this car. Let's get this car tuned up. Let's get this car sorted out. So I'm just going to quickly go over it with a bag of Cometh now that it's stock and see if there's anything flagging for anything else. And anything that worries me when people put like S3 maps on stuff is the cams and all that are different. So it's a bit of a way of doing it when you could just build the software that you've got for the turbo that you've got. But there you go. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. Right. Oh, yeah. No, it takes too long. There you go. Right, engine. This is VACOM, if anyone's not quite understanding what this is. So this is your basic tool for anything Golf. So we've got intake motor flap. Okay. Valve for exhaust flap. Okay. So we've got to do the intake runner flap delete. That's okay. So that's one thing that we know that it's got. So it's got a KO4 turbo. So all the KO4 bits, so map sensor, rail pressure sensor, the KO4 turbo that I know of. I don't think it's an anti-surge. Can't remember. Might be, because Pip fits a lot of anti-surge stuff. Might have messaged him. Can't remember. And that's it. It's DSG as well. So I'm hoping that the DSG is already done. Because this has been to a well-known tuner who was just having issues that he didn't want to take it back there for. Why? I don't know. But here we are. It's always easier to take it back to where you tuned it, because they can just pretty much go with it, whereas I've got to start all over again. So the idle's nice. It's always a good indication if you've got anything going on when the idle's bouncing a bit. I haven't got loads of fuel, so can't really go mad on it. Lambda's a bit high. This is basically lambda trim. So this is a short-term fuel trim which goes really fast. So if you picture in the head, you've got a target. So if I go to, I think it's 31. So your target is lambda 1. Your actual is 98, and what the ECU will do is just to fuel by a percentage, plus or minus 25% on these, to try and match that what the ECU wants. Now this sensor is after everything that's going on. The long term's kicking them now, so the number will drop down. But the lambda sensor is after the turbo and everything else. So if anything happens before that, it takes that long for it to be able to adjust for it. So we have other sensors like the MAF sensor, the map sensor, which also monitor the airflow into the engine to help create this number, so it knows how long to open the injectors for and all that kind of stuff to reach the target that we want. So long term is in the background. That will be, I can't remember what block that is now. I think it might be 32. Yeah. So you got an adapter which is going to change. That's like your long-term trim. So that's adding 3.8%, which is going to drop your short trim down to somewhere closer to 0, which is what you're looking at. So you can adjust to kind of like shrink that up a little bit so that the short term's got more of a heads up. Now coolant sensors at 69 degrees. The car's been on a while, so it might be that is dead as well. These have an issue with the thermostat housings, where they just don't open, and it just sits at a certain temperature all the time, which is lower than 90 degrees, because at 90 degrees is where we see, it's where the ECU allows everything to happen fully, so you get all your power. So that's just around 3.9. So we could adjust for this. I could add 3.9% to the MAF scale, which will drop that down, or the TUVUB, which is like a fine tuning map, to bring that down. I'll bring down the long term just to give the car a little bit more of a chance.
pull the ECU up, and more of a chance to control that power. So 91 cams are latching, 5.9%, not crazy, but not great. So this is a cam latch-in to make sure that the timing and everything's okay. I've asked loads of cars been to specialists to have the timing done, and they haven't timed it up properly on the chain side, so that cam adjusters out, and then what you find then, it's either really laggy or a bit punchy up top and crap up, punchy down low and crap up top. It's like the old vernier pulleys. So always make sure that that's latching and bang on. Obviously you have to make for the oil temp to get up to temp for it to fully latch. It's moving. I'm good with that. So gonna drop off this one and use the advanced, just because we can log 12 things at once rather than 9 slowly. So if we go to load from file, and I've not saved them on this computer. Great. Right. Have I saved them anywhere else? Right. I'm gonna go find my login profiles for this Med 9 and I shall come back. Right, that's done. So I always keep all my profiles over on the portal anyway. The portal's where I do all the tuning for other people, so they've got access to that as well. So VCDS. So this is how you load it in actually, if people are watching that are on the portal. So select, and again, something not quite right with this car. So advanced measures, open the file, load section from file, and then it will be in there if you put it into your documents. And then open it up. And that's it. And then you've got engine speed, lambda control, so that's that short trim. Injection timing, which is how long it's going to keep those injectors open for. Throttle valve angle, because if the ECU is going to do anything, it's going to shut the throttle. Ignition, obviously ignition timing, intake air temp, cam adjustment, band 1, actual fuel rail, actual, boost pressure specified, control, which is important, and then your actual, which is what the map sensor is seeing. So your control and actual and specified are really like close. You need to log in those. Let's do a run. So I'm just going to set the other camera and switch the fan up and give this car a run as is. Or do I cap the boost? I might cap the boost first, just as a preempt. 2 seconds. So just to be safe, I am going to flash on one of my stage 2 kind of plus tunes with a little bit of a cap in it, just to make sure that when we're running it, it's going to be in the best possible kind of scenario. Because if you kind of go flat out on these, run it, or even, I mean, stock probably would have been alright, but because it's got a few extra bits on like the fuel pump and things like that, I just thought it'd just be nicer just to flash it on, just to make sure it's all good. So turn the lights off. Red flashed up there then. So it's going to flash it on, and then we should give it a run and see how far she is out. Hopefully it's not miles out. We'll just see. So ho. Auto, turbo, manual, we're all set up, 400 brake. I've just got to set the revs up. So ESP off. Let's get rolling. The camera's just gone. Alright, 4th gear. You can use 4th or 5th. You're looking for that closest ratio to 1. So I'm going to set it at 2K. Just there. Now we are trying with the sound here. I've got mic on, I've got the camera rolling for the mic. But it is what it is, we're in a loud environment. Right, 2K, neutral. So set VACOM up. Still got to do the interior manifold flaps, forgot about that. That's okay. Sort that out. So advanced measure values, open up that file. So again, if you're on the portal, you got that yourself. I do offer tuning for other people and companies, so right, let's see how good this car is on the first pull. So we got a
I'm even putting Audi S3 in. EW Golf KO4 setup. Version 1. Right, let's give it some. I am watching that fuel because that's quite high. Bit bouncy. No fuel in this car at all. So we're in 25, it's bounced all over the place. I don't think it strapped it very well, standard Fabian. But we've got the fuel trims are pinging out at 25% as soon as you start the run, which isn't great. So I am going to back the boost off a bit more. So TBL, DMX. Sim foreign. So I'm going to back it off to 50% just for a run. Put that back. And you could add a little bit of fuel to the MAF. Because we was running 4%, so I'm just going to add, say, 4%. Might go 5, just to give it a little bit more. That's just like a blanket move, just so it adjusts the fuel trims a bit better. And that's about it really. I'm going to strap the car down again, flash this on, and I'll come back again. Right, we're back. So I'm going to check the low pressure pump, but I want to just give it a little run. I just want to know everything else is okay as well. So let's just have a quick look. So it's not too bad. It's like I'm looking at the percentage load on here. Normally a dead one you're looking about 45-50% on idle. An okay one 30 is alright. Everything else looks okay. Okay, so I've done those two codes, so just got that in plausible or whatever. I've done the flaps. We all love flaps, don't we? Right, let's go. Med 9. Give it a second for the trims to kick in. When you first get in your car in the morning and turn it on, nothing's really happening. So everything's got to warm up. So best not to get in and thrash it, because you never know what you're going to get. So let's just switch off the ESP. Give it a roll. That should catch up as we go. Should. Or does it feel like the ESP is still on? Low down's not that great. Gearbox is a bit weird. Right, that's on. Gotta run 2, log 1, start. So, lower boost this time. There's no fuel in this thing. Straight away landed as a 0. Strangest car ever. Gearbox feels horrible. Lambda control is still out. It's like something's blocked. It is strange. Gearbox is a bit horrible. I might just start the gearbox just to have a look at it. Those trims ain't filling me with hope. So you go straight up to high. As soon as you start pulling straight up, have a look. Might have to give this to the workshop to figure out. Yeah, it's quite high now. So you might also have the whole, like why we had an S3 map when we got a GTI. There might be things changed in there too, because obviously they're running quite out. Specified and actual is quite far out, and it drops back in again. So do I need to change the maths on that? Because the lift is different between the Audi S3. Oh, I don't want dumb whack. That's for lots of bangs. Not on there. Because the lift's different, I wonder if the maths is different between the two maps. I don't normally do the S3 stroke GTI. I think that's kind of a longer way of doing it. It obviously suits some people, but I don't like that. The low pressure side's really good, but the high pressure side ain't great. So I'm gonna do a few tests, and I'll come back once I've figured out what's going on, and help you guys out. Right, so I played around with it, and I still can't get it to go. There's still 25% trims and no fuel. So I'm gonna take this one off. Gonna give it to the workshop to look at on a ramp, because this could be a number of things. I've seen them with crimped fuel lines. We've got bad filters. I think the injectors have been checked. But apart from that, we've got no fuel, so we need to figure that out before we can obviously move on. So I've changed the cam size, I've changed the fuel pump size and everything else, which is all running pretty good now, but I'm just not getting any fuel into the engine. So workshop, I'll move on to the next one. That is the Golf finish now, so we're going to get back over to the Defender and get that sorted out. Where's it gone?
Take two.
Just flops off.
Oh my god.
What have you done? So that is the Golf done. It's going to go over to the workshop. He's going to work on that now and hopefully fix that. And I'm going to crack on with this Defender. And that is going to be the next video. So make sure you tune into that one.